During summer vacation, my boyfriend and I went rafting. Midway, the raft capsized and we all fell into the water. Only my boyfriend and his buddy knew how to swim. My boyfriend saved me, while his buddy rescued another girl. The rest, tragically, drowned. Not long after, we got news that his buddy was getting married. The girl he saved turned out to be rich and beautiful. To repay his kindness, she brought a generous dowry and married him. At the time, my boyfriend had just been laid off and was stressed by debt collectors. Seeing his friend driving luxury cars and living in a mansion, he went to borrow money. When refused, he lost it and stabbed his friend to death. I saw it all and went to call for an ambulance, but with bloodshot eyes, he rushed at me and dragged me into the path of a speeding truck. If I hadn't saved you, the one living large would have been me. You should have died too. We both died on the spot. When I opened my eyes again, I was back on the day of the rafting trip. Chapter 1. On the raft. My boyfriend stared intently at a beautiful girl. I sneered. Since he was so eager to play the hero, might as well let him. Let's see if he can still smile once he finds out her secret. The sound of playful laughter and trickling water returned to my ears. I opened my eyes in a daze. My boyfriend Oliver was rubbing his head, looking around with a puzzled expression. What? Got splashed silly? His buddy chuckled, scooping water and splashing it hard in Oliver's face. Oliver shuddered from the shock, causing everyone on the raft to burst into laughter. It was then I realized. Everything looked so familiar. Oliver was staring dumbfounded at the girl across from him. Her seaweed-like hair was dripping with water, thanks to Lucas's accidental splash. Her sheer cover-up now clung to her nude-colored underwear. Sexy and pitiful all at once, Oliver quickly pulled out tissues and handed them over, eager to please. Lucas smirked. Damn, can't even focus on what's in your bowl before looking at someone else's plate? Oliver glanced at me a few times, not noticing anything off, then retaliated by splashing water back. Two older women got caught in the crossfire and joined in the water fight. Screams erupted all over the raft. In the previous life, Oliver was the one splashing water the wildest, careless and carefree. But now, he's deliberately avoiding that girl, acting all gentle and chivalrous. No doubt about it, he's been reborn too. Memories of the last life flooded my mind like a roller coaster. The river was rapid. The raft flipped. We were all in danger. Oliver and Lucas could swim. Oliver pulled me to the shore. Lucas rescued the girl closest to him. The two older women on the raft tragically drowned. Turns out the girl Lucas saved was a rich heiress, grateful for saving her life. She married him with $1 million dowry. When Oliver got the wedding invitation, he smiled and offered congratulations, but later snapped at me out of nowhere. I thought it was work stress, so I didn't take it seriously. Then the loan sharks came knocking every day. He saw Lucas driving luxury cars, living in a mansion, and went to borrow money. Lucas scolded him brutally. Oliver snapped and stabbed him to death. I arrived just moments later and witnessed the scene, terrified. I tried to call 911, but with bloodshot eyes. Oliver grabbed me and threw us both in front of a speeding truck. Even now, I can still hear him roar. If I hadn't saved you first, I'd be the one living it up. You should have died. No one gets to live. The despair before death and the pain tearing through my organs still lingers. He wanted to play hero and win a luxurious life? Fine, I'll let him have it. Chapter 2. As we reached the bend in the river, the current picked up, and stopping the raft was already getting tricky. Oliver wanted to play the hero. Well, I wasn't about to relive the choking, half-drowned experience again, and with two innocent ladies still on board. I had to make sure they made it too. I stood up and shouted toward them. Hey, maybe let's ease up. The waters ahead look rough and dangerous, but the woman in sunglasses, soaking wet and clearly having a blast, looked annoyed. What are you afraid of? If you want safety, stay home next time. The other lady with drawn-on brows, Monica, grabbed my hand and smiled. My colleague has a sharp tongue. Ignore her. Don't worry. Tons of people raft every day. It'll be fine. Sunglasses lady pulled her back. Don't waste your breath. Let's just enjoy ourselves. Then she turned to me. Girl, Your boyfriend's strong, he probably swims like a fish, right? Even if you don't trust me, you trust him, don't you? Zoe, the rich pretty girl, smiled sweetly, while stealing glances at Oliver. Oliver beamed ear to ear at the compliment. Trust him? I trust a fingernail more, it might at least scratch my back. They splashed water around even more gleefully. I tried again to reason with them. But they didn't listen. Fine then. I'd leave the raft regardless. So I clutched my belly with a pitiful look. I think my period just ended and the cold water is making my stomach hurt. Can we stop the raft so I can get off? Sunglasses lady banged on the side of the raft impatiently. Yeah. Stop the boat already. One moment she's saying doom and gloom stuff. The next she's acting all fragile. She better not die on this thing and pin it on us. All young and healthy, just look at that other girl. She's fine. But your girlfriend's such a drama queen. Oliver didn't defend me. In fact, he looked downright disgusted. He steered the raft to the bank, grumbling, Fine. Get off. You're such a buzzkill. I climbed off quickly, but Monica called after me. Wait, this mountain path is pretty remote. It's not safe for a young woman to go alone. I'm a bit hungry anyway. Why don't we go grab a bite together? You guys finish up and come down soon. Lucas also stood up. Hard to catch a cab down the hill. I'll drive you both. He gave Oliver a meaningful glance as he spoke. Oliver looked conflicted. Sunglasses lady tugged at his arm, scoffing. Let them do whatever they want. We'll have our fun. She leaned over and whispered, Listen, honey, take it from someone with experience. Never spoil a woman. Give her an inch. And when you're married, she'll take the whole mile. Zoe looked sadly at Oliver. I wanted to keep playing too. But I'd hate to be the reason you and your girlfriend argue. Maybe we should get off too? Though she said it. She didn't move an inch, seeing that Oliver was about to snap. I quickly waved my hands. No, don't worry about me. We'll go eat. You three keep playing. Before leaving, I made sure to tell Monica to let the sunglasses lady wear the life vest. Oliver made a show of pretending to care, then rode off with the two girls. Chapter 3. The three of us found a small restaurant at the foot of the mountain. As soon as we stepped inside, rain poured down. The world outside became a blurry watercolor. Monica frowned. Signals already weak in the mountains. Now with this rain, there's no signal at all. Do you think something might have happened to them? The sunglasses lady was her coworker. They'd tagged on this trip after a business trip. Lucas poked at his food. Indifferent. They're probably just taking cover somewhere. Besides, there's rescue staff, right? Monica worried. But what if the rescue team can't make it in time in this downpour? Lucas glanced at me, trying to comfort. Relax. Oliver can swim. He won't die. As for the other two girls, well, that's another story. If you're really worried, we can head back after lunch and check. I nodded. But truthfully, I hoped he did die. When we stepped outside, the rain had mostly stopped. Just as we reached the road, a group of people were carrying stretchers down the slope. Leading the group was Oliver, helping carry one. On it lay long-legged Zoe, wearing his jacket, pale as a ghost, trembling, and coughing up water. Behind her, another stretcher held the sunglasses lady. Her face was bloodied, sunglasses shattered, dangling from a broken necklace. Monica collapsed in shock. The paramedic comforted her. Don't worry, she's alive. She got swept ashore, just has a busted cheekbone. But Oliver immediately shifted the blame. Alice, if you hadn't insisted on getting off the raft, we wouldn't have been delayed. This wouldn't have happened. Don't you feel guilty? I didn't even speak. But Lucas snorted coldly. You serious? You asked us out to cheer you up because you were in a mood. Alice is scared of water. You knew that. She warned you it looked dangerous. You called her a killjoy. Now something goes wrong and you throw her under the bus? You've got some nerve. Oliver flushed with embarrassment. He raised his hand but dropped it, stammering. You're defending her like that. Are you two hooking up or something? Gasps all around. Even the paramedics slowed down. People whispered. Her boyfriend nearly drowned. And she just stood there? What a pair of cold-hearted cheaters. And they dare blame the guy who saved someone? Zoe, watery-eyed, tugged Oliver's sleeve. Don't fight because of me. It's all my fault. I can't row. Can't swim. Seeing the public on his side, and Zoe acting like she needed him to breathe. Oliver gave a pained look. Alice, we're done. I was wrong about you. Then he stormed off into the ambulance, seeing the crowd still whispering. He pulled out his phone and glared. I'll sue you all for defamation if you keep talking. The crowd finally dispersed, mumbling and cursing. Chapter 4. Monica followed them to the hospital. Lucas and I walked back to the inn in silence. Eventually, he broke the silence. He's not worth it. You know, you saw it. Oliver was practically drooling over Zoe. And during the water fight, he shielded her like she was some delicate treasure. Alice. I'll be honest with you. When he first got together with you, he was still tangled up with another girl. I didn't say anything back then because we were bros. It felt wrong to interfere. I stopped walking and looked at him. So why are you telling me now? He scratched his head. Because this time, he went way too far. I couldn't watch it anymore. Then Lucas started ranting, spilling all the dirt on Oliver. I halted. I'm going to break up with him. He blinked. Wait, just like that? You're giving up so fast? I lifted my chin, looking him dead in the eye. Did you hesitate when he stabbed you to death? Lucas froze, gaze dodging. He stammered. What are you talking about? You sound like Monica, traumatized or something. Drop the act. Lucas, I know you've been reborn too. You wouldn't have helped me like this before. You died that day, he killed you. And I died too. Because of him. We're in the same boat. He said nothing, just lit a cigarette. Then, after a long pause, he muttered. That bastard. He can kill me. Fine. But you? After all you did for him? How could he? Just then, Oliver sent a video call. As soon as I answered, he exploded. Misunderstanding my ass. Those two are together, those cheating rats. I must have been blind. He tilted the phone toward Zoe, then hung up. I glanced at Lucas. He looked completely unfazed. I asked, you hate him too, so why let him play hero and save the rich girl? Lucas sneered. You think that was a good thing? The day he came to borrow money. I had just come back from the hospital. I'd found out I was HIV positive. I was about to sell my house, my car. I didn't want to live anymore. And then he yelled at me, said I was ungrateful. If I didn't curse him out, who else would I curse? I stared, stunned. You didn't want to live. He exhaled slowly. Yeah, Zoe infected me. She did it on purpose. She's out to screw the world. Chapter 5. Actually, I had a faint suspicion that Zoe had something bad. Oh, right, I forgot to mention. I'm a psychological counselor. In my previous life, I had a client who confided in me. He said his pure and innocent girlfriend gave him an STD. He became suicidal and severely depressed. It took over a year of therapy before he slowly started living again. A few days before Lucas's engagement, Oliver was getting hounded by loan sharks. He saw Lucas's posts full of fancy houses and cars, and called him to borrow money. Lucas hung up immediately. Look at this guy, made it big and now acts like he doesn't know us. Screw that. I'm gonna go ask him face to face. I couldn't stop impulsive Oliver, so I let him go. That day at work, I had a weird feeling. Scrolling through my feed, I got startled by someone behind me. It was that former client. He came to thank me with a banner. His finger trembled as he pointed at Lucas and Zoe's engagement photo. Your friend? That's when I realized Zoe was his ex. The one who looked innocent but infected him. So, was that what Lucas found out? Afraid Oliver would say something rash and ruin everything. I rushed over, and found myself staring at a blood-soaked scene. I reached for my phone to call 911. Oliver thought I was calling the police, without even letting me speak. He grabbed me and ran into a speeding truck. The image of those headlights came rushing back, jolting me to reality. So that STD of Zoe's, it was AIDS. Lucas stubbed out his cigarette. He was my best bro. Why would I cut him off just because I was doing better? But how could I tell him something like that? I never thought he'd actually try to kill me. And Zoe. I saved her life, believed her sweet words, only to find out she lied to me. I hate them both. The cigarette butt was still smoldering. I poured my water on it. What goes around, comes around. Let them both pay, one by one. The rental apartment, I paid for it. To be precise, I supported Oliver completely. I bought his clothes, covered every household expense. We got together because one night after work, I got harassed by some street punks. Oliver happened to show up and stepped in. From that moment on, I saw him as a hero. He started picking me up from work. Eventually, we fell into something and started living together. In my past life, when my mentor heard about Oliver's lazy attitude and how I kept making excuses for him, he only said, "Even doctors can't heal themselves." I thought, I'm just human too. Isn't it normal to have moments of weakness? But now, looking back, that wasn't weakness, that was blindness. Chapter 6. If Lucas hadn't told me yesterday, I would have never guessed those street punks were Oliver's friends. I had just finished packing up Oliver's stuff when I got a call from the police. "Miss, we need to ask you about what happened yesterday." Lucas was nearby, so I took his car. At the police station, everyone from the raft was present. Oliver sat next to Zoe, with the sunglasses lady beside them. Her face was wrapped in gauze, and she pointed at me angrily. "It's your fault for getting off the raft midway. If it weren't for you, I wouldn't be disfigured. My husband wants a divorce now. It's all because of you." She looked so pathetic, crying, that I couldn't help but chuckle. Maybe he wanted to divorce you anyway, and this was just an excuse? Funny how you were the one giving relationship advice, now look who's getting dumped. You shut up." She lunged at me, but the officer stopped her. "Ma'am, calm down. This is a police station. No one wanted this to happen. Please don't make a scene." She sat down fuming. After I finished my statement, she glared at me. I leaned in and whispered, "Ma'am, if I hadn't gotten off that raft early, you'd be dead." She was about to blow again, but Monica grabbed her tightly. "She's right," Monica said. "Rescue said Oliver saved that girl first. You just happened to be swept ashore by the rain. If we hadn't gotten off early, you'd have gone downstream and drowned." Monica looked at me, wide-eyed. "So if we'd stayed on the raft, 2 people would have drowned. You saved our lives." She clutched my hand. "Girl, you saved us." Then she turned to sunglasses lady. "And your life vest? It was her who told me to give it to you. You didn't even want to wear it. If something had happened, who would I partner with at work?" Sunglasses lady finally understood. She lowered her head. "Girl, I wronged you. I was too harsh on the raft. Please don't hold it against me. I wasn't planning to anyway. They never really hurt me." Just then, Oliver and Zoe walked past us. I quickly called out. Oliver smirked down at me. "What? Regretting losing me already? Bet you didn't sleep a wink last night." Zoe looked flawless as always, a sly smile in her eyes. "Sis, Oliver's such a good man. Go apologize. Maybe he'll forgive you." Oliver sneered. "Forgive? I can't stand betrayal. What were you thinking when you cheated?" "Cheating? Seriously? But hey, if you want to accuse me, who's gonna stop you?" I rolled my eyes and looked at Lucas. "Bring his luggage." I unzipped the suitcase and dumped out the clothes. Then, I picked up a pair of scissors and started cutting. "What are you doing?" "What am I doing?" "Giving your stuff back." "But since I paid for everything, I figured I'd deal with it first." Not a single nice item left, just a pile of wrinkled, torn junk. "There, take it." Oliver looked humiliated. His face turned red as he kicked the suitcase. "Trying to embarrass me? Fine, I don't want it. Cut all you want." "Oh, so proud? The clothes you're wearing, I bought them too." "Strip." Oliver pointed at me, fuming, but held back for the sake of appearances. Zoe jumped in, indignant. "Sis, you look pretty, but why are you being so unreasonable?" She poked at the cut clothes with her high heel, disgusted. "I thought you were cutting up something valuable." "Just cheap brands." Oliver looked overjoyed by her defense. I tilted my head with a smirk. "Trash with trash, makes sense, doesn't it?" Zoe's face darkened. She made a call, and soon a Rolls-Royce pulled up. Her bodyguard handed her a set of clothes. Zoe held her head high. Oliver, go change in the car. No need for her scraps. And remember your favorite brands. We'll stop by my family's mall later. Oliver looked thrilled, gingerly getting into the Rolls. A minute later, he tossed his old clothes out and spat in our direction. Just wait. You'll be begging me one day. The luxury car disappeared into the distance. Lucas and I exchanged a look and smiled. Chapter 7. After that whole scene, those two were bound to fall in love even faster. Lucas and I didn't need to lift a finger anymore. After breaking up with Oliver, I threw myself into work. After dying once and being betrayed by the man I loved, I saw through people more clearly than ever. In no time, my reputation as a therapist started to rise. Meanwhile, Oliver was posting cringe-level flirty quotes on his social media. Meeting you was fate. Everything happens for a reason. I held back my gag reflex and deleted his contact. Then I noticed he'd already renamed himself Knight Guarding the Princess. Even the profile pic was a matching couple's photo. No doubt about it, they moved fast. He was high on his new romance, and I was enjoying watching from the sidelines. That afternoon, after walking a patient out, I went to see my mentor. Turns out, my senior Lisa was in his office too. She's also a counselor, but we've never really gotten along. She always thought my methods weren't as professional as hers. She was venting. My patient lost her virginity, gave herself to a total scumbag, got locked in a room and almost died of carbon monoxide poisoning. She hasn't spoken a word in a week. Her brother insists on being there during sessions and curses at me nonstop. I'm so done. I can't help her. Let someone else do it. My mentor looked disappointed. A patient is when a doctor is most needed. If a therapist can't stay calm and patient, maybe you need a break. Lisa was one of his favorite students, but now her eyes welled up with tears. If you walk away, what happens to the patient? Where's your responsibility? He asked. Sternly. Lisa was stubborn, saving face. She shot me a look. Didn't you always say Alice is so great at therapy? I've never bought that. Let her take the mute girl. I want to see how she deals with that. Neither of them would back down. I looked into the next room. A girl in her 20s sat there, dazed, her wrists bandaged, slapping herself from time to time. Tears streamed silently down her face. It was heartbreaking. I broke the silence. Depression? Lisa mumbled. Worse than depression, I think. She handed me the case file, then pulled it back again. Forget it. I won't push you. You joined a year after me. You're probably no better. Lisa has a sharp tongue, but her intentions aren't bad. She was just anxious for the girl to open up. I hadn't planned on getting involved, but something about that girl struck a chord. Her story felt like mine. I had a strange impulse, a gut feeling that I could help her. Just because you couldn't doesn't mean others can't. Let me try, but I get the commission bonus, right? Lisa didn't believe in me, but seeing how serious I looked, she hesitated, then nodded. If you pull this off, the bonus is yours. I'll even treat you to dinner. And if I don't? I asked. She shoved the file into my hands. Then your reputation stinks alongside mine. I chuckled as I took the folder. I'll try not to stink. Chapter 8. In the consultation room. The girl sat there, still as before, like a statue. You're late. The man on the couch didn't even look up. When I didn't respond, he finally lifted his head, displeased. A new shrink? And young too? What is this? Giving up on her already? If you can't treat her, just say so. A barrage of rhetorical questions, arrogant and rude. I simply raised a finger to my lips and pointed to the door. Go treat yourself elsewhere. She'll be scared if you stay. He looked about my age, but his clothes screamed wealth and arrogance. I nodded. Fine. If you think hovering over her helps, take her home. No need to come back. He slammed the table. The metal on his watch hit the glass top with a loud clack. What kind of attitude is that? I sipped my tea. If you want her better, leave. If not, don't bring her again. Justin bit his lip. He crouched low, gently trying to stop his sister from hitting herself. She shrieked and shoved him away. Softly, he murmured, Okay, okay. I won't touch you. I'll be outside. I promise I'm not going anywhere. Just call if you need me. His eyes were filled with sorrow. Then he looked at me, still handsome, just painfully arrogant. He snatched one of my business cards. Hard plastic? Fancy for someone your age. Alice. Right? Don't act like you're some big shot. It's probably all for show anyway. 1 week. If you can't help my sister, I'll make sure this clinic shuts down. He scoffed and walked out. Honestly, I wanted to suggest he get some therapy too. I didn't say a single word to the girl. No questions. No lectures. I watered the plants, scrolled my phone, flipped a book. Oliver's social media was full of luxury cars and smug selfies. Slick clothes, flashy mansion. His buddies all commented, fawning over him. He replied smugly, "That girl? Old news. Got myself a rich new fiancé. Save the date." I closed the app, unimpressed. Time passed. Nicole eventually tired herself out, slumping into the sofa. She stayed lost in her world but occasionally sneaked a glance at me. When our hour was up, I kept my eyes shut, calmly said, "Time's up. Go home with your brother." Chapter 9. There was a slight shift in her dull eyes, but she still said nothing and left. When Lisa heard I hadn't asked a single question, she laughed so hard she nearly cried. "That's it? You planning to use the do nothing and let it heal method? Just wait for her brother to file a complaint." Sure, I didn't do anything, but that didn't mean I wasn't working during that silent hour. I tried putting myself in her shoes. If Oliver had dragged me in front of that truck and we hadn't died, if I survived, what would I feel? Despair, anger, heartbreak. But most of all, I'd hate myself for falling in love with someone I shouldn't have. What I'd need most wouldn't be revenge, wouldn't even be comfort. It would be forgiveness, not for him, but for myself. Forgiving myself for being blind, for loving someone unworthy, for failing to love myself better. But that step, no one else can take it for you. And maybe I was wrong, because I'm not Nicole. All I can do is empathize as much as possible. So, for 6 straight days, I didn't say a single word, and she didn't either. On the 7th day, right as I got to the office, I got a call from Lucas. Oliver and Zoe are getting married. He sent me an invite on purpose, at some private villa, said he forgives us, wishes us well, and wants me to bring you along to witness his happiness. In other words, he just wants to brag. Alice, I've got everything ready. If you don't have time to go, I'll handle it. I scoffed. As the ex-girlfriend of a cheating jerk, how can I not show up for the drama? We've got to be there to give him our heartfelt blessings. I love a good show, and it's Oliver who's starring in the show. All right, we'll talk it over when you're off work. I hung up, still feeling excited, until someone behind me startled me. Today's the 7th day. Doctor. Justin's sharp features wore a mix of disappointment and mockery. Between the two of you, 14 days, still can't get my sister to speak? Might as well shut this clinic down. I didn't have much to say in return. If Nicole didn't want to talk, I could scream myself hoarse and still get nowhere. Despite the sarcasm, Justin still respected my space. He walked Nicole in, then left. Once the door closed, I took out a lollipop and offered it to Nicole. She didn't take it, so I set it on the table beside her. As I pulled out the chair to sit down, her clear, almost ethereal voice floated through the air. Planning to say nothing again today? My heart leapt with joy, but I kept my face calm. I know you don't want to talk. She went quiet for a while. When she saw I didn't press her, she finally let out a long sigh and started speaking. 5 years. I gave him my best years. Cut ties with my dad for him, a pampered princess raised by nannies. I moved into a tiny apartment, cooked, cleaned, took care of him. My brother sent me money behind my back, worried for me. I saved every cent for his startup. When the company took off, and he realized my dad was handing everything to my brother, he ran off with a rich older investor, afraid my brother would come after him. He got me drunk and tried to fake a carbon monoxide accident. Am I stupid? Sick in the head? My brother shouldn't have saved me. He should have let me die. When Oliver dragged me toward that truck, I was filled with the same kind of despair. But once the pain ripped through every inch of me, and flashes of my life, family, friends, ran through my mind. I realized, nothing matters more than life. Why do you think you were the one at fault? The only one wrong was the bastard. Nicole unwrapped the lollipop, smiling faintly. Isn't being blind a fault too? My dad begged me to come home. My brother was ready to break his legs. No one blamed me, no one. But I hurt my father, lost my innocence, made my brother suffer. I'm not worthy of their love. I can't even look at myself. I made up my mind before I came here. I'd talk to you once. Then go home and leave. Maybe next life I won't meet him again. Thanks for respecting me these past few days. My brother, he just got back from abroad. Guess he'll be heartbroken for a while. She licked the lollipop. Voice light as a breeze. Chapter 10. As a therapist, what I fear the most is when a patient looks completely indifferent. Because at that point, they've truly made up their mind. I pulled the curtains open, letting sunlight pour into the room. You've told me your story. How about listening to mine? Sure. I told her everything I had done for Oliver. Washing his clothes during my period. No birthday gifts. Carrying the financial burden of our relationship. Always putting him first. The truth is, every girl who clings to love is terrified that she hasn't done enough. But in the end, it's just a solo performance that moves no one but herself. She scoffed. Doctor, at least my boyfriend looks decent on the outside. Yours? Pure trash. You're even more of a love-struck fool than I am. See? Sometimes, once you compare stories, you realize you're not the one who's hit rock bottom. She kept asking. So what happened after that? What finally woke you up? I got killed by him. Nicole burst into laughter. What? He couldn't borrow money so he stabbed his buddy? Then grabbed you and got you both hit by a truck? And then you, that jerk, and your mutual friend all reincarnated together? Ha 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 ha. I'm dying! That's the funniest thing I've ever heard. She wiped away tears of laughter. Thank you, doctor. You even made up this kind of wild joke to try and fix me. Seriously. That's the best joke I've heard in days. I looked at her seriously. You don't believe me? But it's true. She didn't deny it. So what? If it's true, then you're even less qualified to help me. You got killed by someone like that and can still sit here all calm and collected? You haven't even figured out your own mess. And you think you can fix mine? She bit down on her lollipop with a loud crunch, then stood up. Sis, you're in the wrong line of work. You should have been an actress. Great performance. I gave a cold laugh. You think I'm calm and collected? Just because I got destroyed by a scumbag like that, you think I should be crying my eyes out? Or maybe I should throw myself out the window? I pointed to it. I clenched my jaw, then said what I truly wanted her to hear. I handed him the knife of my trust. He was the one who betrayed me. I've already been hurt, already paid the price. So why should I keep picking up that same knife and stabbing myself again and again? So no, I won't hurt myself anymore. In fact, I'm going to make sure he pays the price. Nicole was stunned by the chill in my eyes. But, you're a therapist. Chapter 11. Therapists are people too. And besides, it's not like I plan to do anything. I'll just watch coldly while karma takes its course. Her session time was up. Doctor, I'll think carefully about what you said today. Maybe I'll come back tomorrow. Or maybe I won't. I know making up stories is just your way of trying to stall me. But I really don't believe in things like reincarnation. That's just self-deception. But either way, thank you. She gently opened the door, and was suddenly stunned by what she saw outside. Lucas? What are you doing here? Lucas was Justin's childhood friend, and Nicole's godbrother. The moment Lucas saw Justin walking out of the bathroom, he put him in a headlock. Justin had no idea who it was and started cursing. But when he realized it was Lucas, his anger turned into joy. Damn, no wonder that chokehold felt so familiar. Lucas gestured at him, grinning. You punk. Came back to the country and didn't even tell me? Then he glanced over at Nicole. What's up with Nicole's face? You okay? Maybe because I was standing there. Justin threw an arm around Lucas and said, Don't even get me started. Just thinking about it pisses me off. Come on, let's grab a bite and talk it over. Wait. What about you? What are you doing here? I came to pick up a friend. We've got something to talk about. Lucas pushed past his buddy and looked at me. Justin's face froze, probably remembering how arrogant and dismissive he'd been toward me earlier. He looked a little uneasy. In the end, he tested the waters. Doctor, would you do us the honor? Join us for a meal? I rolled my eyes at him, then glanced at Nicole and finally nodded. But unexpectedly, Nicole waved her hand. Lucas, I'm not feeling well. You guys go. I don't want to eat. Justin looked happy that she was finally speaking again. Lucas seemed a little worried, but Nicole didn't say anything more. Justin didn't insist. Fine. We'll take her home first then. I quietly tugged Nicole's sleeve and whispered. Lucas is the friend who was reborn with me. You can ask him about it later. And tomorrow, we'll both witness that jerk getting exactly what he deserves. Nicole hesitated for a second. But in the end, her curiosity got the better of her. Chapter 12. On the day of the wedding, at Zoe's private villa, the fences were wrapped in extravagant thorny roses. In the yard, high-end designer sofas and chairs were neatly arranged. The sunlight slanted down, casting dappled shadows that only enhanced the lavish atmosphere. Celebrities from all walks of life, along with the media, gathered to witness the grand wedding of this so-called perfect couple. The ceremony hadn't even started yet, and they were already trending online. Guests whispered among themselves. I heard she offered herself to him after he saved her. This guy hit the jackpot. He didn't just save a person. He saved a literal money tree. He's set for life. All this fortune will be his sooner or later. Oliver, wearing a custom-made groom's suit, was basking in the envy of the crowd, clearly overjoyed. We chose to sit at a corner table. Everyone around us was gushing about how extravagant the wedding was. Nicole, sitting beside me, murmured, if he hadn't broken up with me, our wedding would have been even grander than this. I gently patted her hand. Don't feel regret. He's not worth it. Soon, amidst clinking glasses and cheerful chatter, the bride Zoe appeared. She wore a white gown, elegant and regal like a princess. Oliver was dazzled, and the entire crowd gasped in awe. Just as the two were about to drink their ceremonial wine, a group of men suddenly burst through the doors and pointed to the stage. It's her! Yes, that's her! The joyous moment was disrupted. Oliver quickly stepped in front of Zoe, yelling for security. To his shock, several police officers followed the men in. Zoe's father frowned. Officers, this is my daughter's wedding day. What is the meaning of this? The police presented their IDs and, seeing the villa packed with guests, responded with righteous authority. We suspect your daughter is involved in social retaliation and poses a public safety threat. We need her to cooperate with an investigation. Oliver was completely thrown off. He rushed down the stage, panicked. Can't this wait until after the wedding? My fiancée is delicate and gentle. How could she be a public danger? He tried to comfort the frightened Zoe, eyes blazing as he pointed at the men causing the scene. They're just here to sabotage us on purpose. Then Oliver suddenly looked like he understood something. He turned and pointed angrily at our table, slamming his hand down. He roared, "It's you too, isn't it? You're the ones stirring shit up. Are you even human? You cheated on me with my best friend. I forgave you. I was nice enough to invite you to the wedding. And this is how you repay me?" Nicole took a sip of her drink with disdain, curling her lips. "Doctor, your ex-boyfriend is acting like a rabid dog." Oliver pointed at her, furious. "And what the hell are you? Just a pathetic freeloader living off others like the useless trash you are." Chapter 13. Justin flung a glass of red wine straight at Oliver. In an instant, Oliver's pristine white shirt was stained red. He was about to retaliate when people around them began to recognize Justin. Wait, isn't that Justin? Their families have been rivals for years. So he came here just to stir up trouble? Oliver tried to suppress his rage. "Officers, you heard that, right? They're the ones intentionally disrupting the wedding. They should be taken away." But then, one of the men who had barged in earlier couldn't hold it in anymore. "Bro, Zoe has HIV. You've been conned." The wedding didn't go on. The media went wild. The news that the daughter of an oil tycoon was infected with HIV exploded across every platform. Since they hadn't legally registered their marriage, and Zoe had refused a premarital checkup, It all added fuel to the fire. Zoe adamantly denied it, trying to cover it up with her family's influence. But Justin's family, her biggest competitor, was never going to let that happen. Besides, Zoe had hurt too many people. Under pressure from the police, she was finally forced to take a medical test. The result confirmed everything. News of her diagnosis spread like wildfire. Soon, the charge of endangering public health and intentionally harming others was officially placed on her. Zoe cried her eyes out at the police station, screaming, "I'm a victim too. Men are all trash. I was just punishing them. They only wanted me for my money and looks, right? They slept with me, spent my money. Didn't they deserve what they got?" Her accusations had no legal ground, but what she couldn't understand was, how did all the men she had infected, who lived in different provinces, even find each other? That was all thanks to Lucas. When I had once mentioned a former patient's similar case, Lucas had suspected Zoe wasn't a one-off. He started quietly digging into her ex-boyfriends, and sure enough, he uncovered 8 victims. Some found out before marriage, others only discovered the truth after. As for Zoe's father, why would he agree to let her marry beneath their status? Because he knew, and chose to turn a blind eye. Zoe's family collapsed. Their business and partnerships were swiftly taken over by Justin's side. Justin was beyond grateful to both Lucas and me. As for Nicole, after seeing Oliver's true colors, and watching him fall to his knees in shock, staring blankly at the medical report, she felt a strange, almost satisfying sense of relief. And for the first time, she looked at me a little differently, even though Nicole still didn't believe that Lucas and I had been reincarnated. For some reason, she no longer wanted to die, mainly because I'm kinda curious how my scumbag ex ends up, she said. She continued coming to therapy for a while, and day by day, she looked better and better. On her last visit to the clinic, she grabbed my hand excitedly. "Doctor, sis, my ex came crawling back to me. My brother said that rich woman he went after? Turns out she's married, and she lured away all his clients. Now he's left with nothing but a shell company." My heart sank a little. "So, what are you going to do?" She patted my hand. "Now that he sees I've made up with my dad and got my life back on track, he wants to come leech off me again. But too bad, he's too late. I cursed him out so badly he probably forgot his own name. And better yet, I bought out his only remaining company and fired him on the spot." Nicole's smile was radiant. "If someone stabs you once, that's bad luck. But if you let them stab you twice, that's on you. The first time, I was blind. But sorry, I've got my vision back now." Senior Lisa also kept her promise and treated me to a fancy meal. She didn't know the full details of the therapy process, but she admitted defeat, fair and square. Say what you will. But her grumpy brother didn't just not complain about us. He actually praised our hospital in front of the media, even mentioned you by name. "Girl, you've got some serious skills." I just shook my head and smiled. Let's just say, the timing, the place, and the people were all just right. Chapter 14. Maybe it was fate. Maybe the heavens had mercy on me, and on Nicole. After that, Nicole never returned to the therapy room, but in private, the 4 of us became close friends. We often had meals together. On Nicole's birthday, we went out for dinner and then watched a movie. By the time we walked back, it was already very late. When we turned a corner, we saw a group of people kicking and beating someone on the ground. Justin and Lucas immediately stepped in to stop them. The group of thugs was pulled away, still spitting and cursing. One of them said, trying to explain, "Guys, we get that you're trying to help, but this scumbag has HIV. He gambles like crazy, borrows money and never pays it back, and even tried to get us to die with him. He's trash. Stay away from him." The man on the ground was thin as a stick, curled up and groaning with his head in his arms. His body was covered in dirt, and his exposed skin was riddled with open sores. He was a complete mess. The smell of blood mixed with the stench of spilled alcohol and broken glass. Under the streetlight, I stared at his face. It looked more and more familiar. Oliver? Lucas recognized him too. Oliver froze for a second, then hunched over. He grabbed onto Lucas's leg. "Bro, come on. We've known each other for years. I'm down bad." Look at you guys. All dressed up and successful. Lend me some cash. I haven't eaten in days. Before he could finish his sentence, his hand was already reaching for Lucas's pocket. In a panic, he snatched the wallet, pulled out a wad of bills, and tossed the wallet onto the ground before taking off running. Lucas didn't chase him. He just shouted after him, "Oliver, this is exactly what you deserve." Oliver came to a halt. He slowly turned around, a strange clarity in his bloodshot eyes. "I finally get it. Why everything went so smoothly for you two, why everything lined up so perfectly. You both were reborn too, weren't you?" His eyes burned with fury as he roared. "Why? You knew she was sick. Both of you, why didn't you tell me? Are you even human?" I sneered. "Weren't you jealous of Lucas? Didn't you blame me for stopping you from being the hero? In our last life, I did try to tell you she was sick, but would you have listened? You were already blinded by greed, and in this life, we didn't do anything. Every single choice, you made it yourself. If you want to blame someone, blame yourself. Bitch! You fucking bitch!" Oliver snapped. He picked up a jagged shard of glass and charged at me like a madman. Justin shoved Nicole out of the way and stepped in front of me. The shard stabbed deep into his chest. Justin gripped the glass tightly, blood dripping down steadily. I kicked Oliver hard in the stomach. Lucas yanked him backward with all his strength, sending him sprawling to the ground, but Oliver tried to crawl forward, reaching for the glass again. Before he could get to it, whoosh, a truck came barreling down the road and ran right over him. He lay there, unmoving. Moments later, a pool of blood spread from his body. I instinctively looked at the license plate and froze. It was the same truck, the exact same one that hit the two of us in the last life. Chapter 15. Oliver is dead. Based on the testimonies of a few of us and surveillance footage, we were judged to have acted in self-defense. His death was ruled an accident. Justin only sustained a hand injury. He eyed the business card with the dented surface. Good thing I kept it in the chest pocket of my shirt. Honestly though, this card is good quality. Where'd you get it? Mind recommending the supplier? He raised his face with a smug expression that begged for a punch. Also, I kind of saved the damsel in distress here. Shouldn't I be rewarded somehow? Nicole joined the teasing. Marry him. Marry him. Don't mess around. I peeled him an apple. I'll cover your medical bills. What about the emotional damage? I shoved the apple into his hand. Nope. The others looked a little disappointed. I chuckled. But I can offer a few free therapy sessions. That might not be fixable, he replied with a wicked grin. Lucas and Nicole were laughing even harder than Justin. For a moment, the room was filled with laughter. Outside the window, the clouds had cleared, and the sun shone brightly. Look, stormy skies always pass, and new beginnings, they always come.